What was it like to be a monk in the Middle Ages? And what does the monastic life look like? I'll be discussing what monasticism is and kind of its importance. It sounds a bit boring to think about, at the beginning, but you truly realize that this is an important component of the medieval life. So let me first define what monasticism is. It is the life of a monk. It's being a monk. Monasticism refers to the type of lifestyle of a monk. And we have monks today. I mean, obviously there's Christian monks and there's, Buddhist monks. But I'll be talking about what life was like as a monk in the medieval period. The word monos basically means, one or alone. Although if you believe in God, you're never alone, right? But that's basically because of the amount of solitude that monks tended to take, even if they lived together in a monastery. They would go, they would work, they would pray, they would study. Specifically, their kind of daily routine was called the divine office, which basically told you what to do. It told you what prayers to read, what psalms to sing, which hymns to sing, etc. And they lived what we call an ascetic lifestyle. An ascetic lifestyle is where you deny yourself of worldly pleasures, things like sex, sleep, gluttony. They're going to live a very, very basic lifestyle. Very few possessions. They're not allowed to get married, etc. Now, there's a problem here in medieval Europe. And in the early stages, the monastic communities looked very different. There was no uniformity there. You could go to one monastic community, and they were doing things one way, and another community was doing something completely different. Until St. Benedict comes along. St. Benedict addresses this problem by issuing what's called the Rule of St. Benedict. Like another example, people can't even read or write. I mean, they're illiterate. And the rule, it's really the Rules of St. Benedict is really what it should be called, is going to be a very, very regimented military style, kind of the way you want to think about it today, form of prayer. For instance, they're going to pray 8 times a day. I mean, every few hours, you're going to wake up, you're going to go down to the church, and you're going to do your prayers, you're going to sing some songs, etc. You take a vow of poverty, a vow of chastity, and a vow of stability. And what this does, ultimately, is this lack of uniformity that we have in the early times goes away, and uniformity is achieved through implementing the Rule of St. Benedict. You can pause here. There's actually a rule. I mean, it regulates everything, like every little detail inside of a monastery they can measure, including, how much alcohol are they allowed to drink. You can see right there. How the nuns are to sleep. My favorite is with knives at their side. Apparently they slept with knives back in the day. What did daily life look like? They would pray, they'd wash the dishes, they'd cook. Early forms of hospitals actually occurred in monasteries. They would write manuscripts. Manu means hand, script means written, so written by hand, and also early forms of education. These manuscripts helped achieve literacy during the Middle Ages. If you could read or write, you had to be in the church. Nobody outside of the church really could read or write. They were obviously written in Latin, and this kind of educational framework established by the monasteries really sets up the framework later for universities and colleges. So there's definitely a connection to today. Special type of manuscript made at the time are called illuminated manuscripts. If something is illuminated, it glows, it lights up. And basically what happens with an illuminated manuscript is a monk is going to go and painstakingly go and write out, usually like the Bible is what you would think about. And they'll write it with beautiful gold leaf, which would shimmer or shine in like candlelight. And it's a way to go glorify God through their writing. The most famous one is the Book of Kells, which you can find in Ireland. It's in Dublin today. And it's not even the full Bible, it's just the 4 Gospels. And it's so beautiful, it's been described as the work of angels, not even man. Typically, the binding is actually going to be made out of sheepskin. Was it just a church? No. Nobility going and seeking to save themselves from hell would go and donate land to the church, and the church would gladly accept it. And the largest owner of land in the Middle Ages was actually the church. They were involved in revenue making, meaning they had business side. They would go and grow stuff, mining, animals. You could go get a little monk milk if you want. They served as a hospital, as I mentioned, a school. You would go there for court. your lodging, you could go and have like a hotel on the road. The point here is this. The monastery was in many ways, and the church was, the cultural hub of society. Ladies, we won't leave you out about the life if you were a nun. If you were going to donate money or, land, if you were a wealthy member of the nobility, you tended to donate it to the monasteries, unfortunately. What this did, though, for a lot of women is, say your family is kind of like a little bit middle class. You weren't super poor, you weren't super rich. It could give a woman a relatively, peaceful lifestyle. She's going to be taken care of. She's going to have safety. She's going to be learn to be a good Christian woman. All those things. They would actually send women to go be nuns, sometimes against their will. And this actually goes and allows some women to go and learn to read. And that's definitely the only circumstance that they would be able to do so. So the monastic lifestyle is crucial to the Middle Ages, very regimented, not initially, depending on where you are, but after the rule of Saint Benedict, very regimented and keeps really the center. It's really the center of society and very much underappreciated part of Middle Age culture.